Hello, everybody. What's up, Rev, Aaron Judah? Hope I pronounced that right. I was watching your video response to the intro video, and the rest of my questions are coming up soon. After I make this, but I didn't intend to respond to video responses, but in this case, I just wanted to make an exception. I want to say that you raised a lot of good points, and you fully had and I'm not going to say you fully had me going because that implies that you were being misleading. But I was feeling what you were saying until you started to make excuses for basically what I feel for negative behavior. And you said if you keep them in their proper cultural context, you could see the energy. I'm assuming that energy is a downplay, of their behavior, the yelling, the screaming, and the cursing, and everything like that. And you said when they're realizing the similarities between, when they realize the similarities between themselves and people in the Bible, it could drive them to do, crazy things. I just like to say, I don't know, but a lot of people have been, you're not the only one, a lot of people have been saying that. And to me, it's extraordinary. You're not the only one. There was one guy, his video responses next to yours. He said, well, even though I don't agree with some of their methods and what they have to say, but at least they're, saying the truth. I just like to go on record as saying history is littered with people who have been displaced and who have had legitimate grievances culturally and with the powers that be, and it did not excuse their negative behavior in any way, shape, or form. And you don't even have to look at history. You can, look in modern times and see that. But I'm just going to give some examples in the Bible. Seti the First, who said that who decreed that all Hebrew male children should be cast into the sea. Not into the sea, should be cast into the Nile. Now, did Seti have a legitimate fear for his country? Yes, he did, because there were people who were in his country that were not indigenous to it. Their numbers had grown large, and he had a legitimate fear that they could possibly overpower the native Egyptians and take over. That fear is absolutely legitimate, but did that legitimate fear justify the mass execution of children? Absolutely not. And you seem like an intelligent person, someone who's reasonable, and I don't think that, and I'm pretty sure you can see where I'm coming from. You don't even have to go back that far. You can just go to the jails and the prisons in the United States, and you can say, and people who turned out bad because they had abusive fathers and they beat up women and they killed children, and people who ended up being rapists because they were raped. They have legitimate grievances, and there is pain that they did not inflict on themselves, and they have pain in their lives that was put on them, by outside people. But does that make it okay to take out? But does that make it okay to take it out and to take out their problems on other people? Absolutely not. In World War II in Germany, the country was in economic ruin. There was a lot of civil unrest, and Jewish people were, I should say the so-called Jews, were easy targets because so-called Jews were easy targets because they were in a country that was not their own. They were not the indigenous people, and they had gathered a lot of wealth and a lot of political power and a lot of influence. And the native people were starving, and they didn't feel like it was fair that people who were from outside of their country were basically, taking over and running it. Did they have a legitimate grievance? Absolutely. But did it justify the mass killing of 6 million men, women, and children? Absolutely not. I feel like, and just like I said, you're not the only person who said that. There have been a lot of people who said it on YouTube, especially the Black Hebrew Israelites, who tried to apologize for them. But my thing is this. People need to stop excusing negative behavior and call an ace and a spade a spade. if it's wrong, say it's wrong, because it takes away from the legitimacy of the movement. Because, like I said in the intro video, to a layman, someone like me, it's impossible to differentiate between them all, because they don't wear signs that say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but I'm not going to curse you out, and I'm not going to curse you out. They don't wear signs that say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but I don't think that, the guy from Jay-Z's music, the guy that was, in Jay-Z's music videos is the Son of God, is the Holy Spirit of God, I should say. So those are two fanatical representations of a legitimate movement, and I gave what I felt were some fanatical representations of Christianity, and how Protestant Christians have distinguished themselves from those fanatical representations. So you can distinguish between the two. I'm not criticizing the legitimacy of the movement. All I'm saying is that if it's wrong, it needs to be said that it's wrong, and it doesn't need to be excused. Him standing out there saying that it's okay to rape a 12-year-old girl as long as she has her period is not right. And any person that's reasonable can see that, no matter what cultural context you find them in. I'm quoting you. And that's just what I like to say.